Right now, we're going to learn how data and trust can drive public sector success and how Salesforce Analytics, which includes Tableau and CRM analytics, make it all possible. I'm Desmond Wong, here to guide you on your path to trusted data and AI. Joined by Wes Weiss, Solution Engineering Manager at Salesforce, and Christy Gordy, Senior Administrator for the Social Services Division at the Wyoming Department of Family Services, which is currently building its data foundation with Salesforce. Thank you both so much for joining us. All right, so I want to start with a couple of questions. Now, Wes, AI is amping up the pressure on so many organizations, so many companies right now, and a lot of them are reevaluating their data strategies, with about 2 out of 3 data and analytics leaders feeling the pressure. So let's talk specifically about that, and specifically about the public sector.
Cool. Yeah, public sector agencies are definitely feeling the pressure to adopt AI right now. But honestly, a lot of that pressure is coming from the fact that their data foundations just aren't built for it. So we're seeing a clear gap between ambition and reality, where agencies want to implement AI very quickly, but they're operating in environments where their data is fragmented across dozens or even hundreds of different systems. So when your data is spread out like that, even the simplest of questions actually takes a lot of manual effort to answer, and your data analysts are spending more time preparing their data than actually delivering insights. So that pressure we're talking about is showing itself in multiple different ways and different pain points for our customers. Really kind of like where your speed for mission outcomes and the quality of your services being delivered is being impacted. And this is where Tableau and Data Cloud come together to solve for that. So with Data Cloud, we're able to build a unified data layer for our AI to sit on. And with Tableau, we can connect directly to that data so that we can then build one single unified view of what's happening in that agency. So together, we can move agencies away from fragmented data silos and into one trusted, governed intelligence that both humans and AI can utilize. And so really the challenge isn't about how do we adopt AI, but rather it's do we have the right data foundations to support AI?
That makes a lot of sense. And again, data is one of the biggest challenges and one of the most important elements of getting AI right. Now, Christy, based on your important work and your experience, are you feeling the same thing?
Yeah, so Desmond, I think what Wes said was right on. I would say I'm not sure we feel the pressure, but it's definitely present and has become very top of mind for a lot of people to say, how are we going to use AI? I would say where we are in the Department of Family Services has really been around, and we heard it, I think, mentioned in some of the keynotes today, is we start with a grounding of our values. And so we're really about keeping families safe at home, opportunities for success, and supporting the people, our staff, who support the families. And in order to do that, we do need the technology, but we first and foremost need to be grounded in our why, what is our processes, and understand that. And then how does technology help us carry out that mission? And so I would say Wes hit it really well. We experience all of the data challenges. Yeah. We have siloed data. We have a really hard time accessing our data. We have zero visualization and no real-time access to know what is happening in are the services and supports we're providing to families actually helping them. And then on the flip side, just their experience is difficult, as well as them having to provide a lot of duplicate data to our agency for services.
Got it. And again, makes total sense. I think we all feel the pain. Okay, so question for you, Christy. Yeah. Was there an aha moment for you when you realized, you can impact and help serve all of these families and communities with a particular set of capabilities or technology?
I want to say there was this magical aha moment. I don't think there was. I think it was some real intentionality from the leadership of our agency to recognize that the way we were providing services could be better. And so what did that need to look like to provide and serve families and individuals in the way they expected? Like we heard today, they expect it the way that the way they interact with private businesses, they expect from our agency. And then we had to sit down and say, I think aha moments maybe came then in trying to say, great. We know how we want to do this. We know from a business perspective we can do this, but we also know we need technology to help us do that, whether it be through a new platform such as Salesforce, which can be flexible and agile, which is what we were looking for, and really connect all of the programs and services that we offer, understanding that most families are interacting with multiple programs, and so ensuring how do we do that in a better way for them, but also the staff that are serving them.
Amazing. All right, Wes, I've got one for you.
Sure.
And again, because you work with incredible businesses and organizations like YW Family Services all the time, how are you advising agencies to reinforce their data foundation so they can get set up for the agentic era?
Oh, I love the question. And I actually really love what you said, Christy, about starting with the values and what do you guys actually mean, because that's really how we're advising agencies to start reinforcing their data foundations. It is about mapping it to mission values, and it's really doing things like a data readiness assessment, where we look across the data landscape to identify things like where are their data silos, where is their governance gaps, where are teams spending too much time on manual processes that we could potentially automate. And when we actually understand that landscape, we then shift into really focusing on three things. The first being connection. We want to be able to connect, not collect your data. So use things like zero copy and native data connectors within Data Cloud to connect to data to build a unified data layer to build an agentic foundation. Second is establishing trust. And when we establish trust, we're talking about standardizing KPIs, building out a governance framework, building a semantic model so that we can actually give business context to the agentic framework and the agents and AI that we build. And lastly, it's about activation. Well, how do we get insights out of our data with Tableau and then deploy it when and where our end users and our business users need it? So whether that be in Slack or within a data workflow or business workflow within Salesforce, we want to get it to the users when and where they need that. So at the end of the day, if we do all of that, we move agencies away from fragmented data stores and actually into being reactive, from being reactive to being proactive, and give them a really trusted intelligence that they can utilize. So when we're talking about reinforcing data foundations, it's not about organizing data. It's really about that connection, that establishing trust and activation layer.
That's amazing. And then, Christy, I've got one more question for you. Now, let's talk about impact. I think WY is already doing incredible things. Now, in your working with Salesforce, what's the impact that Salesforce has had on the organization? Can you share a big win?
Yeah, I think it's multiple different things for us. We're still pretty early on our journey, so outcomes are coming. But I would say from an operational standpoint, we have the ability to see real-time data. So we know what is happening and who we're serving, how we're serving them. Very specifically in a child welfare space, we're tracking where kids, if they have to be out of home placement, are they with a relative or kin or not? And we have real-time data with visuals that staff can see and be able to build from. I would say we see impact from those that we're serving with easier access to our systems and supports for those families that need it. And just one last thing I would say is we've built a real strong data foundation and data governance, which we never had before, which we have to do this work.
Amazing. All right, so let's close it out there. Thank you, Christy and Wes, for your insights, including the impact of Salesforce Analytics on Wyoming Family Services. To see how data analytics for government allows organizations to make smarter, data-driven decisions, scan the QR code on your screen.